What you doing, Clam? I'm fixin' to cut all these sticker points off my deer so it scores more than the world record. But they'll be cheating, Clam. Well, they're cheating my deer by deducting them anyway, ain't they?
C.T.A.G.S, the perfect way to score your deer. No negatives, no deductions, just total score.
Oh, no, I had a little fun with this, making that short. But it is true, this deer had 23 and 2/8 inches of deductions, which is quite considerable when you look at the size of it. So I'm just over voicing a video that I did when I scored this with the C.T.A.G.S. But you can see we measure the total height, the total width, the total volume, we count the points, and we get a total score with no deductions. There's no negatives. There's just no downside to this scoring system. And using the metric system, it's done in millions. And so the odds of a tie are very, very rare. Now, I didn't give it this perfect score. Somebody else named that, but I like using it because it's well named, because a lot of the guys that bring their heads here, okay, don't belong to clubs. They're a group of real extraordinary individuals because they love their antlers, and they also want to see if the big one they got this year was actually bigger than the one they got 4 years ago. And so they get it scored in the C.T.A.G.S system. There's no deductions. Anybody can do it. It's very easy to do. It's very self-explanatory, and it gives a true picture of what these deer grow. Now, I'm not arrogant enough to subtract points off these beautiful deer. I mean, I made a joke about cutting them off, and exactly, if this deer had not grown those points, it would just dwarf the world record. But I don't enter my heads. I like scoring them. I like to know what they score. My friends like to know what they score because it's a true picture. You don't have to belong to a club, and it tells you exactly how much antler that animal grew. Now, when you field judge a deer, you'll say, holy smokes, you see how many points it had? Did you see how thick it had? Did you see how wide it was? Did you see how high it was? Well, the C.T.A.G.S system scores all that. No rules, no downside, just gives you a true picture. So when you somebody and you're talking on the phone and you say, how much did it score? Well, you don't have to say, well, I used the gross, or, oh, it lost a lot of points, or, oh, gee, there was deductions, or, it's, it had a big drop time and it got deducted. All those things are excuses. With the C.T.A.G.S systems, you don't need excuses. A friend of mine said he scored his deer, and it scored 28 by 4,212 mils of antler. And he wanted it officially scored, of course. And I was excited to see it because I know from him telling me that over the phone, I know it's a big deer. I know there's no deductions. I know he's got a true picture. He did it himself, but he did it right. When it got scored here, it was identical to the score he'd gotten because it's a very easy process. You can't go wrong. You're not fuddling with a tape trying to measure a point or around the outside curve or decide all the rules that apply or measuring it at the lowest circumference. And we entered it in the book, and now it's history. So please stay tuned for next week's episode, because I show you how to score an actual set of antlers that are already mounted on a deer head. And this is one big deer. And it has to be done with the C.T.A.G.S simply because when you look at the size of the drop tines and the mass that this animal has, the only scoring system that can possibly do it justice is C.T.A.G.S. Look at the size of the drop tines. Look at the actual mass. The points are everywhere. It's got huge drop tines. And I'll show you how to do it using the C.T.A.G.S system so it gives it an exact score of how much antler this beautiful animal grew. No fumbling with a 1/4 inch tape, no measuring the outside curve on a huge drop tine like that, or some of the big points. You can see the mass that this animal has, and it truly possesses a set of antlers that are second to none and beautiful. And you can see even the one on the other side. How do you justify that with a 1/4 inch tape? Give me a break. So I'm going to score it next week. You'll see it. It's a beautiful animal. So guess in the comments below what you think it'll score using the C.T.A.G.S system.